Hi, everybody. Dan Illman here, taking a look at the Friday the 13th race of the day, Friday, March the 13th. It's race number 8 at Oaklawn Park. Stakes action, the $125,000 Temperance Hill Stakes at the demanding distance of 1.5 miles. Our race of the day coverage is presented by the Ontario HBPA and the Owner Racehorse Initiative. Make 2020 your year for excitement. Visit ownathorough.ca for current ownership opportunities, or join them at one of their ownership information events at Woodbine Racetrack on April the 25th or May the 23rd. Event information is available online, or call the HBPA of Ontario's ownership specialist, Stacey Roberts. Reserve your tickets today or visit ownathorough.ca. Here's the field for the Temperance Hill Stakes. Remember, you can download free Formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with me. The 1.5 miles, really the key for this race. There are a few distance specialists, a few horses trying this distance for the first time, and a horse that's going to try to stretch his speed to 1.5 miles is the expected pace setter on our Timeform US pace projector. That's the number 7, Remembering Rita. I expect Remembering Rita to make the lead in here. Not sure if I agree with Timeform US's assessment that this race will be a red bar / fast pace scenario, but Remembering Rita should be able to control the pace. Let's start the analysis in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Sky Promise, a horse that should not have any problems with this additional distance. Robertino Diodoro claimed this horse last year. He likes to do this just about every year. Take a nice distance-loving claimer, send him out to Western Canada, and make hay in those Western Canadian derbies. That's exactly what Sky Promise did, sweeping through the Manitoba, Canadian, British Columbia Derby at long distances. Now, last time out, we'll go back to the race at Oaklawn, 1.16 mile event. He's going to come with a big late rally to finish second. Night Ops, the winner of this race, is going to run in Saturday's Essex handicap at Oaklawn. This race only 1.16 miles. Sky Promise making up a lot of ground at the end of this race. And again, getting back out to 1.5 miles. He really should appreciate it. He does not have a lot of early speed, however, might be at the mercy of pace and race luck. Number 2 in here is Croatian. Croatian is a horse stretching out for the first time as well. You look at this pedigree, though, you're not worried about it. By Medaglia d'Oro, out of a Seeking the Gold mare. I think Croatian will get the distance. It's his 3rd start of the form cycle for a good trainer in Wes Hawley. I like his tactical speed. The issue is he good enough? His best buyer speed figure came in a $40,000 beaten claimer at Churchill Downs last fall, and this is just a tougher spot. So Croatian 15-1 on the morning line, going to have to improve. The 3 is Rated R Superstar, graded stakes winner at 1.125 miles. It's been an honest horse for a really long time. Dropping out of the grade 3 Razorback handicap, didn't break very well going 1.16 miles that day. Sat a decent trip near the back of the pack, tried to make an inside bid on the far turn, eased out to split horses in mid-stretch. He ran okay. It was an 89 buyer speed figure for Rated R Superstar, who certainly fits at this level. Now, stretching out 1.5 miles for him might be an issue. I've always liked him as a late-running middle-distance type. He's by Kodiak Cowboy out of a Gold Case mare. Lots of sprint and middle-distance ability there. I have to admit, little concerned about him going the 12 furlongs at Oaklawn Park on Friday the 13th. The 4 is Changey, and Changey last time out finished 4th in an optional claimer. Just got wired by Remembering Rita. Really had no chance the way that pace shook out. Remembering Rita controlled the pace. This horse just tried to make up some late ground, really couldn't do it. I kind of think he's better on turf and synthetic at this point in his career, however. His last race was his first race with Lasix off. He was certainly not embarrassed in that race. Might get a better pace setup in here, but I'm not sure if the combination of dirt and 1.5 miles is what he wants. He'll be a big price. The 5's Tone Broke. Tone Broke goes out for Steve Asmussen. We have a formulator fact for Asmussen. Past 5 years, horses aged 4-year-olds and up, moving from turf to dirt routes. 3rd start off a layoff of 61 days or greater. 36% winners. Positive return on investment, and Tone Broke won 2/3 of the Canadian Triple Crown last year. One of those races on dirt, the Prince of Wales. One of those races at 1.5 miles, the Breeders' Stakes on turf. He's been in tough in his last couple at the fairgrounds against graded stakes competition. He's going to fit here. He's another horse, though, that likes to come from the back of the pack. He's going to need a little bit of pace help, but don't count out Tone Broke, because this distance is really what he wants. The 6 is Kurilov, and Kurilov, when he first came to North America, was trained by Chad Brown, ended up grade 1 placed in a turf race. He eventually went to the layoff for a long time, returned for trainer Brad Cox. He has been on a roll in his last few races, including this effort on February the 21st. I know this race is only against starter allowance foes. I like the way he got this job done. He worked hard going a mile and a 16th. I'm really not that concerned about him stretching all the way out. He's a winner at a mile and 3/8 in his native Chile. I think that Kuralov has enough ability and back class to win a race like this. Perhaps he is the now horse in this race. A couple of these horses might be a little bit off form. Kuralov fits, not worried about the distance. Great trainer in Brad Cox. Expected pace setters, the 7, remembering Rita. We're going to take a look at his most recent race, going a mile and an 1/8. And as I mentioned, what a great ride from Joe Talabo. Just dropped the anchor on the lead. They went a half in almost 50 seconds, 3/4 in 14 and 2. You're not catching. Remembering Rita, a horse that's a graded stakes winner when he's allowed to control a pace like that. Now, can he do it going a mile and a half? That is really the big question. He's razor sharp. He likes Oaklawn. He has back class, and he has the strong recent fig. But he had a perfect trip last time out. He figures to take some money in this race, and I'm not sure if he wants to get the distance. The 8 is You Can Thank Me Later. You Can Thank Me Later. A nice, honest horse. He's been in the exacta 19 times in his career, but had trouble getting through the non-winners of one other than condition, and he is a one-run closer, and I'm not sure he's the best closer in this race. He has a win at a mile and a half. That's a big advantage, but he has to improve and take a buyer boost off of his last few races. I think Ryland is a little bit interesting. That's the number 9 in here, and Ryland goes out for trainer Tom Amos. We got a formulator fact for Amos. In the past 3 years, horses aged 4 and up on dirt, removing blinkers. 27% winners, $3.36 ROI. Ryland was on the Kentucky Derby Trail in 2018 for a little bit, 3rd in the Risen Star Stakes. Always thought of him as sort of a one-run closer. Kind of found his tactical speed in his last 2 races, including in the Louisiana Stakes, when behind a very hot horse in Silver Dust. So I think this horse fits well from a class standpoint, and he has a grinding style that makes me think a mile and a half is within his scope. I really don't love the blinkers off move, but the formulator fact proves me wrong. He seems to do well, Tom Amos, with the blinkers off. I think Ryland might be racing himself back into shape, 4th off the layoff, and he can't be counted out at a nice price. Horse to beat in here is the number 10 Campaign. We take a look at my top pick in the race. That's where I'm going. Campaign is a horse that was probably best in the Brooklyn, going a mile and a half on Belmont Stakes Day. He got into all sorts of traffic issues that day, got wired by a horse that was able to set the pace on the gold rail. He bounced right back and won a grade 3 at Del Mar, going a mile and a half. And then 2 starts back in the marathon, he was the big favorite. He's 3-5 at Santa Anita, and he just was awful. He was eased. He was walked off the track. It was a very puzzling performance for a usually consistent horse. He came back in the Razorback. It was a mile and a 16th. He dropped a country mile out of it. A mile and a 16th is just too sharp for this horse. He swung widest into the lane, and he came with a decent enough late run. I think it was a good prep for Campaign, the Razorback was. I think stretching out to a mile and a half is what he wants to do. And I think Campaign, with his back class and his affinity for this distance, is going to get through the $125,000 Temperance Hill. It's your Friday the 13th race of the day. Race number 8 at Oaklawn Park has an approximate post time of 4:42 Central. Good luck.